Uh-oh. Okay, I think we're live.
We
You
are.
know, if this doesn't record right, we'll just do the replay. But you guys, it's been a minute since we've been on the StreamYard platform and going to LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook. And so, hey, I am Joyce Johnson, author, speaker, sales champion, coach, and founder of Y Sales Network. I'm excited that you guys are here with us today. We have this monthly webinar. We've tried to do something a little bit different to cater to our audience. So we went to Clubhouse last month and we did something on Clubhouse, breaking the bias with about African Americans for Black History Month. In January, we did something a little different. So we're back here on this platform because we are realizing that they all don't work well together. Ananda,
Right.
I don't know if you guys remember Ananda, but Ananda was an intern with Y Sales Network. She's going on to do amazing things. I personally, she's one of the favorite people, my favorite people to interview me, right? She asks amazing questions. I told her she should be like an investigative reporter, but she's really good at what she does. And I want her to develop that. She's a little shy. And so I said, I'm going to ping her and see if I can get her to do this today. And she said yes. So I'm going to hand over the reins to her. First, I'm going to have her introduce herself. And and then I'll have Ananda have her introduce herself. And then after that, we'll get started. I had someone just come on here. Oh, Mariel,
How
hi.
are
Hey,
y'all?
I'm
Hi.
great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I just got in from my long day.
No worries, no worries, no worries. So the view that I have, so I was just saying, Maribel, that we're back to this platform. We've been off this platform in a while,
Mhm.
and that Ananda is going to be basically interviewing us today. She was a former intern with Y Sales Network. I love when she interview. I love when she's helped me in the past interview podcasts. She's really sharp and she does a really great job investigating. So I told her she should be an investigative reporter in some lifetime at some point. So I was just about to hand off to Ananda. We are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And again, I had some challenges, so we'll hit the replays all over the place and make sure Jasmine gets it out and promoted. But Nanda, introduce yourself, and then you can have Mirabelle introduce herself, and we'll get started.
Great. So, hi everyone. I am Ananda Jameson. As Joyce said, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm a Georgia native and I currently attend Spelman College. Now, I'm currently wrapping up my junior year as a political science major. And as Joyce said before, I've previously done PR for YSL's network and all things Joyce Johnson Enterprises. And right now, I'm like a mentor to first year students, a researcher, and I do different volunteer things as well. And above all, like this topic today, I'm a womanist and a creative. So I'm so glad that we're all here today. I would love for Maribel to just introduce herself and give us like a 30-second bio on who you are.
Absolutely. My name is Mary Bell. I go by Sunshine. I'm owner of Sunshine Personal Solutions, a staffing company. We're located in Houston. The name of the agency is Sunshine Personal Solutions. We staff to small, medium, and large businesses.
Great. I love that so much. Now, I know it's St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, but today we are here to highlight some of the amazing women that we have today on the panel. And then, of course, Joyce is hosting a breakfast coming up. So I want to talk to you guys about, your journeys thus far surrounding Women's History Month and things like that. So, Joyce, can you tell us a little bit about, what you have coming up and what that means to the women that you want to support?
Yes, so Women's History Month is, it's this month in March, and also International Women's Day was March 8th. Which is also my birthday. And so, I really want to do something special. And so we're having a breakfast on the 24th at 8 a.m. at the Sea Baldwin Hotel here in Houston. It's going to be the first in-person event in a while, right? So I want to get back in person. And I want to just build that network of women together. We've also invited the men. So men, yes, the question to that is yes, you can come out and join us. But in addition to that, for this year, I've named this year the Year of the Woman for Y Sales Network. And our theme is It's Our Time. So,
Mhm.
ladies, it's our time. In addition to the breakfast, I'm going to be hosting dinners, small dinners of 3 to 5 women, once or twice a month. I have a couple of sponsors for them, just so that we can get together meet each other, learn a little about each other. Basically, I'm going to say to those women, Ananda, who do you serve and how can I serve you?
Right.
I want to build a cohort of women business owners and entrepreneurs. It could be a lonely space, as I've said before, and I think it's important that we find people that are in that challenge with us. I don't want to call it a struggle. I said in the struggle, no, in the challenge with us. Yes, it's challenging, but we're going to overcome it and we're going to get through it, whatever we need. And then also, I host a clubhouse room on Wednesdays in the Landing Big Wells room. It's an organization that I've become a member of, and that one is small. It's women only, small business challenges. Each week, I highlight a company or a story. I've told the Amazon story, the Spanx story, the HEB story, and others, because I want women to understand that although 80% of the business failed in 2 years, it doesn't have to be you. It doesn't have to be you and your business. And so, in that room, we're there to inspire women. We're there to tell stories about other businesses that have become really big business and how they persevered. No, they were not profitable in the first 2 years. So that's a myth, right? That everyone, are you profitable? That's a myth. And so I just want to be able to inspire women in entrepreneurship, build a cohort, and really just create a family of women entrepreneurs.
That sounds great. To me, sometimes the word entrepreneurship controls so much, but also the word, and at times it feels like a ceiling because as women, it doesn't really capture the many hats that we all wear.
Yes.
And I just want to, recognize the brilliance and the tenacity that it really takes to be an entrepreneur, and especially to, wear the many hats, like I said, that women do that oftentimes go unnoticed. So it's important for me to like give you guys your flowers now and things like that so that you understand like what you're doing means so much. And like
Thank
within
you.
that, that's great. So within that, Maribel, I want to know like what's your start with entrepreneurship and just how like 5 years ago it was such like an unconventional path to take, and how sometimes the world is like people of color, women of color, and just women in general, the world can try to make us believe that our biggest dreams are not accomplishable and like to limit ourselves. So what's your story behind that?
In regards to that, everyone goes through challenges. Myself, I'm a Latina, and as a Latina, I've had gotten those challenges as well, for being a woman entrepreneur, and also the a Latina. But with those challenges, we overcome by showing what we can bring to the table. You know, each one of us has a different story behind us. We follow, our own passion, which is a different industry. And also, some of us have a family. Some of us are, our parents, our wife,
Mhm.
our siblings. So it's a lot, but we just overcome. We outbeat, and keep on going. That's my best tip. Keep on going and building those connections and showing what you can bring to a table, your skills, your abilities, and your mindset.
That's wonderful. So
Love that you
Joyce,
said mindset, Mary Bill, 'cause that mindset is so important. And it's so important that we do something to feed our minds daily and to keep ourselves in that positive space, so that we can keep going.
Absolutely.
Yes.
definitely. And Rahelia Nehero, who's going to be a part of the breakfast, her latest post on LinkedIn really talked about how entrepreneurship gives you a lot of choices, but also the fact that you have to present yourself in a way that's engaging and striking to viewers, not only in a way to hook them, but to make them believe in your brand. And within that, you really have to look at yourself and your brand from the third person perspective. How is my target audience going to receive this? How are they going to really interact with this post and things like that? And so when you bring up mindset, that really strikes a chord that I know like a lot of women who are going to watch this, because it's really about that way that you view yourself and things like that. So I want to know, Joyce, from you, like, what's your experience with just knowing the third person mindset that you have to have when running many different businesses in your perspective?
Say that again, Ananda.
I said I wanted to know, like, what's your perspective on the importance of having the outlook of the third person perspective and things like that, and that mindset that you're talking about.
Oh
How
yeah.
has it impacted your business?
I think that's why I host the the clubhouse room, because I also need to inspire myself, right? And I want to create that community around myself so that when I am I think when I'm with other women and other female entrepreneurs and things that, Nicole's joined us, and Nicole and I had kind of a late dinner snack on Sunday evening, and it's just empowering, right? And you're able to, and then also we're able to find a way that, how can I help you? Like I said, how can I serve you? And then here's what I need, and you can help me and serve me this way as well. And so I think it's just important for us to be able to look at ourselves and also look at others, and then combine what we have to become the powerhouses that we are.
That's great. Nicole, I'm so glad you joined us today. Can you give the viewers like a 30-second bio on who you are and what you're about?
Okay. I'm about change, all about change. My name is Nicole Taylor. I am the owner of Vision, Opportunity, and Work. We are a domestic violence organization. And what we do is we mentor women and men. We do have some men clients. We mentor. And basically, we help women get back on their feet and just give them back the power that they already have within. So we transition women from broken to I guess I don't know the proper word, but we transition women. So we're all about empowering. I'm also a candidate in Brazoria County for Justice of the Peace. So I'm running for office, and I'm running just because I want change. And that's just to be honest with you. I think that we need more people in the community that's on the ground doing the work and getting things done. So that's just a little bit about me.
That's great. So I heard that you said that you are an owner of a nonprofit that really combats domestic violence with women and youth, and then sometimes men.
Mhm.
Oftentimes, like when you have those experiences that forces you to operate from a place that you're always on guard, it becomes hard to really trust yourself and to trust the voice that we as women need as entrepreneurs. So, like, what's some advice that you have for people to really dismiss those thoughts and really to just inspire yourself and believe in yourself? What confidence that you can have?
Dig deep. I would say you have to dig deep. You have to, you have to block out every negative voice. And that means from within to the people around you. You surround yourself with positive thinking people. Like Joyce said, positive women that can uplift you, that can, empower you, and that just motivate you to do something different. Because a lot of times let's be honest, we all are broken to some degree. We've all have been able to overcome something. My story may not be your story, but we've all struggled with something. And so that's the thing. Each one of us can uplift the next person. We can just give, little gems. Sometimes during the day, I may hear someone say something negative, and I always try to turn a negative into a positive. So I never make a negative comment. Like yesterday, I had a very frustrating day. I never say I had a bad day. I never give negativity any type of light. So
That's so important because like your words are so powerful, and then like once
yes.
you start to speak them, you start to believe them. So like being that it's Women's History Month, I want to know from the entire panel, like who's someone that really inspires you, that keeps you going in your life?
Someone that inspires you.
Yes, that you think of like Women's History Month, you think of this is a great person that keeps me motivated. Let's start with you, Sunshine.
Well, first of all, I wanted to give a little input in regards to the young lady about the domestic violence. I'm a motivational speaker.
Mm,
And when yes, you do surround yourself with great people, with positive people. But when someone's broken, you don't want to add that to it, get emotional with them. We had to put our emotions aside. We're supposed to be the strong one. We're supposed to, make them feel they came to the right place. We're there to help, not to judge them, not to say, well, you should have done that this way. No, it's not about that. It's about helping, collaborating to their needs and guiding them and mentoring them. And they're coming for you to you for comfort and to see what is the next step. Because some people think about killing themselves, domestic violence. Oh my God, I'm going through this. I can't pay my bills. Well, you're there to guide them. To get the. We're not like we can't do miracles out of miracles, but we can help and guide them to where they can get the resources so they can take the next step. I deal with a lot of people that in shelters, women that have been beaten, lost their homes and have been in prison. So every human being, including ourselves, we're entrepreneurs, but we have a story behind our names. We go through so much, but we don't need to showcase, oh my God, I had a bad day. No, I had an amazing day. I had a phenomenal day. Let's go to the next step. But going back to your question, you mentioned about, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, someone, a woman that you feel like inspires you on your day to day, things like that, that keeps you.
Well, a woman that inspires me is my mother. Um, she did a lot for us, so now I'm a prime example and a role model for my daughters, for my kids, for me to keep going. So that's my inspiration on why I do what I do, who I am, or how I have built my mentality and the way I see things and the way I see life. So my mother has been my role model, and now I'm a role model for my kids, and they are an inspiration to me.
I love that. Thank you. Nicole?
Sunshine, I have to say that is powerful. Talking to women, I my heart goes out to you, because a lot of times, sometimes before COVID, I used to go to the prisons, and we have women that are in prison because they finally just had enough. They had enough, and then they let go. But one of the things I just want y'all to think about, we're talking about Women's History Month, and right before this, I watched a clip. I want to say, is it Corey Baker? I can't think of the guy's name, but he was talking about Kim Kardashian. Okay. And I know Kim Kardashian has so much behind her that you don't know if I'm going to go right or left when I say her name. But she's almost one of the most influential women right now that we have. She's very powerful, right, when it comes to social media. Right now, Kim Kardashian is being harassed, right? She's being verbally abused by Kanye. A lot of people look at Kanye and they look at him reaching out and they're like, ha ha ha, oh, he just wants her back. Okay. But when is enough? If she's the most powerful woman, he hasn't broken the law, right? All he's doing is harassing her new partner. And that's the thing, that when some of these women are in situations, they don't know which way to turn. When that person does not break the law, a lot of times when they break the law, it's too late. So that's how we need people to understand what domestic violence is and what are the different stages, because domestic violence isn't just about hitting. It can be verbally, and it can break a person down. So back to your question. I would say the most influential woman, I hate to be typical, it would be my mom, of course, because I think that she has been under so much pressure, like a diamond in the rough, right? Just like been through everything. Anything you could throw at her, she's been through. And like her, I'm the same. I've not known where I was gonna live. I've been homeless from domestic violence. I had to walk around. I had to quit my job. My abuser came to my job. My abuser tried to kill me. And everything that I've done, it's like I'm just trying to overcome. I'm just running a race, and I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. So that's the thing. So when I think about someone that is empowering and that just like, oh my gosh, makes me keep on going, it would have to be my mom. And she's a great individual. Like sometimes when I say, you know what, I got to be strong for everyone else, but I may call you and cry sometimes. Yesterday, like I said, I don't use negative words, but I could say tough. And I had to just, pull back just a little bit to get myself together, to regain my power, my strength, and just put my phone on silence for a little while, just for a few hours, and get Nicole Taylor together. And I think that women need to know it's okay. We're all human. Even if you drop a tear for a woman that's going through it, it's okay, because we all are together in this. And they need to know that you're human. They need to know that you've been able to overcome. Watching you is a success story. If they're thinking that there's no way out, then they're going to just keep on keep on going through the same old motions, you know. But the thing is what keeps women in toxic relationships is fear. And so they have to know that there is success and happiness on the other side. So
That's great.
And also, when you get on a comfort zone and too comfortable, and you want to live the same life over and over because you don't know any better, and you just have been living consistently, repeatedly
mm-hmm,
every day, so you're used to that life.
Yeah,
mm-hmm,
the normal.
yeah.
Definitely. Joyce, let's hear from you. Oh,
But
you're on mute.
I'm sorry, a truck was passing by, and I don't know if you would hear it or not, but it was annoying to me. I would have to follow suit, yeah, I remember talking to my mom a couple of weeks ago, and you ever talk to your mom and you're like you're having like allergy problems, or you having like a little cold or just anything, and they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" Right? You like you're perfect, right? Oh, I hear something in your voice, like you gotta take something. You got to come up on a little cold. My mom's a retired RN. And so, but I'm talking to her this day, and it wasn't like the best day, right? As Nicole said, it wasn't the best day. It was a day. And, but it wasn't the best day. And out of nowhere, she just said, I really believe in you, Joyce. And it was just amazing. Later I text her and I was like, thank you for that. Right. And so I think, I've shared people before. I could probably tell my mom, Mom, yeah, I think I'm gonna move on. I think I'm gonna go and train and become an astronaut now. She'll probably say, Joyce, you'll be a really good astronaut. And so, in that bias of her, and so, this week, this month, we've been highlighting women that have inspired us throughout, and there's been so many, but definitely my foundation came from home, from my mother, my aunts, my grandmothers. I'm the firstborn grandchild on both sides of the family, so I spent a lot of time with both of my grandmothers, and I think that there's some innate strength. And so, my heart, my prayers go out to women that don't have that foundation and don't have that level of support. And I know, so there's other people that we're trying to show them and help them recognize that they can draw strength upon. In my corporate life, I've had mentors that I've drawn strength upon, and different things, and different times in life. So, but yes, so I'm happy that here on this screen here that mommies are winning.
Definitely. Going off of that point, I want to get some advice like from you all. Like, what would you tell your past self that you think the listeners can benefit from on the topic of emotional well-being, confidence, understanding your triggers, and understanding the need for boundaries?
I'll hop in here, ladies. This morning I led a clubhouse room. I do my morning sales tips every morning at 9 o'clock for 30 minutes. And this morning the topic was, it was really about like why your customers not responding. But in that topic, the message, but all the tips that I gave them today, the message that I said told everyone I want them to walk away with, and the message that I would say to myself is, not only is it not you and not your fault, right? It's not about you. There's a lot of hurt people, hurt people. There's a lot of people going through a lot of things in their homes that you have no idea. And they bring that into the workplace. They were brought up or not brought up the wrong way, with the wrong messaging, the wrong things. I saw someone on here on our post that says, someone has a thing that says women rights was a mistake. That's right here in our room right now. I don't know if you guys saw that in the comments. They have the title says women, they're on YouTube, women's rights was a mistake. It's not me. It's not my fault. And it's not about me. So for that reason, maybe not take some of it as personally, not as I would have. It's not that it wasn't hurtful or painful, but I think when we look at it at the perspective that this person's behavior, the sexism, the racisms, the isms, it's not me. It's not my fault. And not only that, it's not about me. It's about them and what they're going through. I would say that to my young self.
I love that. Anyone else?
I would say that a couple of years ago, I wrote a note to myself, And when I look at that note, I can't believe how broken of a person I was. And so if I was to say anything to the younger me, it would be, it's going to be okay. I'll just hop on what Joyce said. It's going to be okay. It's not about me, it's about them. They have insecurities, and sometimes, let's just be honest, it's people, there's haters out there that don't want to see you win. And you have to put your big girl pants on and say, you know what? I'm going to go through this in the thick of it, and I'm going to win. And you know what? Whoever said women's rights was maybe a mistake, maybe it was, because we're up. We're up. And we're winning. And we're winning. How about that? And there's nothing that anybody can do about it. So maybe they're right. Liz, and I'll give it to Sunshine.
Passing the
Well,
mic.
women are powerful. And just like prime example, that message came through. I didn't see it because I'm not on the chat. I'm listening to the audience, to y'all. But that's a prime example of negativity coming in, and we have to turn it into positiveness. You know, each one of us is a role model for the public, for the audience, and each one of us has to take our own actions. And the way we respond to negativity is by being positive. Uh, we can't go around the world having an attitude. Body language counts a lot as well. The communication, how you interact with people. I love great attitudes. I cannot deal with bad attitudes. It doesn't matter if it's an employee already established with me, an applicant looking for employment, an employer looking for my services. It's like we all have to have a good attitude. We all go through so much. We all have bills. We all have, something going on, whether you're an employee working for someone or an employer having employees. You can't mistreat those employees, or the employees acting bad with the employer that's signing their check. So it's just, we all have to have a great attitude and work on it. I'm zero tolerance with any kind of misbehavior or attitude or a problem. I don't tolerate attitude. So how do I work with that? I try to stay away from attitudes. I try to stay away from those people that are negative. Surround yourself, like the young lady said, when you surround yourself with four negative people, they're always complaining about they cannot afford to put gas, they cannot afford for a meal, they can't, rent a hotel because on their next vacation, you'll be the fifth one complaining. If you hang out with four successful people, they're always on the go, 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 and let's see what the next project is. Let's see where I can be a speaker at. What is the next platform of networking? You'll be the fifth successful person. So always surround yourself with who you want to be um, surrounded with.
I love that because I feel like I can't exist around people who have like a defeatist mindset. What you talked about, like, I can't do this. And so for me, it feels like they view life from the glass half empty, where I feel like women like us, like, I feel like I know, I can tell the people who view life like glass half full as like they're always trying to find a solution. Like, this didn't work out, but there's another way I can try it. Or, this no really didn't mean so much to me because I'm already thinking about, the next yes and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. I feel like that's really important mindset to have.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to go, like, you're gonna have doors closed in your face. And you have to, just like that next no could be your biggest yes. So
Right.
like that, the possibility. And and Sunshine, one of the things my grandmother told me that I promise you I live for. What is it? Your attitude equals your altitude. Like I remember being 12 years old and having a horrible attitude, like smacking lips, and my grandmother had to get me right on together. And that is the truth. And so I live by it. Like every day, I'm like you. I have no nonsense for foolishness. I'm just gonna think about the positivity in everything. You know, um, that next door might be a yes.
Definitely. So a lot of times, we get locked into the hustle culture of things, and that can lead us to like looking at other people's projection and trajectory of just life and how fast they can execute and reach success. But sometimes we fail to prioritize our own well-being and truly listen and pay attention to like how a situation is making us feel, whether that be like a toxic work environment, not really living in your purpose, and even having like a lack of confidence and potential that you feel like you can really have. So, like, can you guys talk about like how, what ways that you prioritize yourself, and things like that?
Myself is time management, and I'm working on it. How do I prioritize myself? Is by making sure I'm accountable, and if I commit to something, 100%, not half percent. Um, I'm part of different organizations, different chambers. I'm a speaker at different locations. I have my own networking, and I make sure I'm accountable on my time because my time is valuable, just like y'all's. So I try to put it on my calendar and show up on time, or either help with what I can't. And how anyone can help the organization that you're in, or be accountable for something that you get committed, is by having a passion. Passion is so important. Like myself, I don't really do the camera, the Zoom. I'm always off camera because I can't sit still in front of a camera for like 30 minutes or an hour. I'm always trying to reach out to something, sending a text, looking at an email while I'm
Right.
still hearing. But today, everything that y'all have mentioned, I have a passion for that. I wasn't ready to be on camera and live, but guess what? When y'all started talking, it brought to my attention like I just have a passion for hearing and being able to give my pointers, give my tips in regards to the conversation, the topic that y'all are conversating today. So it's just collaborating and being a part of whatever you're in, but with passion. Passion, it's you won't even have it as a job. It's just you continue and show and help the world and help the community with your abilities and skills and your talent.
Definitely, I love that. You know, we all know you can't pour from an empty cup at all. Like when you're drained from something, you can't give your 100% best to all the things that involve you. So, something that Joyce taught me was to really communicate through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Whether it's like it scares you or like you feel like you're going to let somebody down, you have to communicate. And I feel like that's so important. So, Nicole and Joyce, like, what's something that you do that you feel like, oh, I have to prioritize this? Like, this is my me time. This is what I have to do to stay
For
afloat.
me, I live by my calendar. First of all, I live by my calendar. I try to put everything on the calendar because I want to be on time. I want to show up. I want to be present in the moments that I commit to. And so I live by my calendar. But that said, I also say I work hard, but I play harder. And I'm just as committed to my play as I am to my work. And I say that because it's important, right? A lot of people just don't give themselves that time to travel and to see friends and and to hang out at a restaurant and have a beverage with a friend and just be in that moment, right? Without working and being on their their a notebook or their phone or things like that. I mentioned Nicole and I got together. We haven't known each other a very long time. We got together on Sunday and we were just in conversation. It wasn't like when you see some of these people, you have all these girlfriends out together and everyone's on their phone, and she had her goddaughter with her. And you guys know I love college students. They're my favorite people in the world. I say it all the time. And so we were just in the moment of building of relationship building, and how do we help and support each other. And so I try to give that. And and even when I'm with my family, sometimes when I'm with my family, I think maybe sometimes I don't spend enough time with them. I think sometimes I'm not there enough or what have you. But then my birthday was last week, and then my cousins, they'll put on Facebook or something about how dedicated I am to the family and how I give to the family and how I'm always there for them. And that warms my heart because that's what I want them to say, right? And so I just try to be in the moment when I'm working. And like I said, there's no one that's going to work as hard as I do or harder than I do. I'm side by side. I'm toe to toe. And now that you've received emails from me in the middle of the night, and I'm like, you don't have to respond. I'm just sending this email. And but when I'm play and when I'm with family and what have you, I'm equally as passionate about that, to give my life that balance that it needs to be able to build and inspire my inner self to do better.
Very,
Yeah.
I
Let
love
me
it.
add something to that. So my I'm known by sunshine, which is during the day, morning, and after hours is dawn. And after a few drinks, having a good time, whether it's networking or family, I play hard at midnight.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. I want to hang out at midnight.
Oh yeah, we'll have a blast.
We're coming.
So I would say I'm still trying to figure out this whole schedule thing. I like how Joyce has the calendar. I definitely need to jump on that and get organized. That is one of probably my weaker, one of my weaknesses is just kind of organizing. I kind of write things down, but I carry a notebook everywhere I go. But I definitely need to get the calendar. That is a struggle for me.
And the calendars on your phone, you can always add, because that was my struggle. I would forget
Yeah.
appointments, and I'm like, oh, we did have an appointment today? Let me look, and it was because you would think that you would remember everything. No, you have to put it on the calendar, because it's so much we do on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And
I
so
put
many
it on my
events.
phone right away. I put things on my phone right away. I had to set 2 appointments today, and I was like, look, let's put it on my phone. I'm gonna send you an invite from my phone. I may send you a Zoom link or a Google Meet or something later, but the invite is going to go in my calendar immediately.
Well,
I'm working on that.
Yes, I need to work on that, Joyce. I can say that, hey, I need to work on that. And that's something that I definitely, but I would say that I'm spiritually grounded. A lot of things that kind of just keep me going would be my faith. That's just the truth of everything, of what keeps me grounded. But I definitely need to get more organized. And let's see, what was the second part to that question?
Just how you prioritize you, like what ways you do that. So sometimes for me, I know I have to have some TV time, like at the end of the catch up on my shows, so I can just not think about everything so much.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to schedule more time with friends, and fit them into my schedule, because a lot of times, in all honesty, I just go, go, go. I literally, a lot of times, my day starts at 5 a.m. and I'm going to like about 10. I'm waking up, and then as soon as I come home, I'm crashing for at least an hour or two, and then I'm just like right back on it. So like even today, I was like, okay, I got 7 o'clock. Then I was like, oh no, the appointment changed. Okay, I got a 30-minute nap this time. Just trying to prioritize things, and also give time to my kids. I have 2 teenage boys. So I have one that is wanting right now for me to take him to the rodeo. And I'm just trying to fit everything in, and just try to be super mom, and super business owner, and entrepreneur, and and the list just goes on. Sometimes we just have to put on multiple hats, and we just, you have faith, you ask God for strength, and make sure that you're mentally okay, because a lot of times when we add so much to ourselves, we lose ourselves, like you said, Ananda, like watching TV, spa day. Joyce went
Love
on
that.
Joyce went on a vacation, and I was like, where are you going? I wish I could go. Let's schedule something, and being okay, like, hey, we all might need to just schedule a trip someday, and go back and uplift each other, and learn from each other.
Definitely. I love that so much. So, like, I was so happy when Joyce asked me to do this interview and like interview this panel of women for Women's History Month, because if you know anything related to White Sales Network and anything Joyce Johnson Enterprises, she really stresses the importance of inclusion and representation, which we can clearly see from this panel and like what she has planned in store for her breakfast on the 24th. So, Joyce, a lot of times you talked about in your book, No Backdoor for Me, you talked about inclusion and representation, how sometimes that just, businesses execute that in a way that's not so scaled out for years to come, but more so just a 1 year plan. So can you tell us a little bit about your upcoming book that you want to release and like how that relates to?
Well, the upcoming book, Ananda, I have not actually decided on a firm title for it. The upcoming book is going to be about my the life in entrepreneurship. It's going to start off, no back doors for me, sort of ended with what was happening in corporate for me and what was taking place there. And the new book is going to pick up on that journey of entrepreneurship. I've also decided that I'm going to make it an audiobook first before it becomes a written book. I had an opportunity recently to listen to Will Smith's book titled Will, his name, and he did some great things in that book for us, having music and different things. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have all of that good stuff in my book. I'm gonna have other people talking. I might have a clip from this webinar and things to really be able to bring it to life and allow people to really feel like they are a part of my journey because they have been.
Right, making it experience. I
Yes.
really love that.
Yes, but I do have a few names for it and a type for the title, and I haven't settled. I wanted to settle on before talking to you today, because I since you're going to ask me about that, but I haven't settled on a title for it.
I feel like those things come with time. Like you know it when you know it, and you're like, it just comes out of nowhere. Like you could be asleep, and you're like, oh my god, this is it. You know,
Yes, yes.
that's so
It may
me.
not be any of those titles that I have written down. It
Right.
may, I get inspiration from many different places. It may not be any of those titles that I have written down. Honestly, it just may be something new.
Yeah, so Women's History Month was had its origins in its national celebration, like in 1981, when Congress like passed that this is like something that we're going to celebrate for a week, and then it morphed to celebrating for an entire month. And like speaking of like politics and running for office, Nicole, I want to know like you're currently a candidate for Justice of the Peace. Like talk to us about like your hopes for this position and what you want to do.
Nicole, could you hear when she said Nicole? Oh, I'm thinking maybe she doesn't hear you. Uh-oh, now we lost her. Okay, she'll be back. She'll be back in my Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. I'll share with you one of the things that I'm passionate about with all these judge seats. I've shared with individuals that there's 61 judge seats open in the Houston market right now. In Houston, not I shouldn't say market, but in the Houston area. And the reason I'm passionate about it is because we can vote at national levels and things. A lot of people don't vote in local elections. And
Right.
that's a mistake because especially when you're voting for these local judge seats, these are the people that make decisions over our day-to-day lives. When we talk about the domestic violence for women, when we talk about sex trafficking and all those things, those people are going to they're going to come before local judges first before they go anywhere else. So it's really important that we get it right. And when I look at Houston right now and a low voters turnout and 61 judge seats on the table, you know, we've got to get informed about that and we got to get involved about that because when we have our young women being abducted, when we have domestic violence and all these other things, those are the people that they're going to go, those offenders are going to see first. And we need to make sure that we have the right people there representing women
Mhm.
and making the best decisions for our lives.
Right.
Definitely, I agree. So Nicole, before you had to hop off, I was asking you like, what do you want to see for yourself, like if when you do win this position? Your
I
position.
like that. I like that. I love it when I win. Absolutely. Yay. The biggest thing would be creating programs for our youth. I mean, a lot of our teens, there you have truancy issues, and a lot of them are coming from broken homes. Like we don't know what happens. I would tell some of my coworkers, hindsight, like, at 5 p.m. is when, like, 8 to 5, I was perfect, having the best day of my life, right? And then 5 p.m., I would just kind of just shut down because I had to go home to that toxic environment, right? We just don't know what happens when people let down their garages. We don't know what our neighbors and and, or what other people are struggling. And sometimes, a lot of times people be like, oh, that's their situation, their business. No, their business is our business, because when it comes to our schools, when it comes to our work environments, and if you're at the grocery store and you're an innocent bystander and it impacts you, then you care, right? And, so it's like we have to make sure that we are moving forward and we're doing the proper things. So my key thing would be creating programs for children. Maybe not domestic violence, it could be anything, but just creating programs for our youth.
To
Working
keep
with
them busy. To keep
keeping
them
them
busy.
busy, keeping them busy, letting them know that, hey, there are resources out here. We need grassroots organizations that can help our youth. So a lot of times what we do in the court system, what I can tell you what they do is they refer them to a big organization, right? And then they're on a wait list, or they don't have time. They're able to only get one appointment, then they skip appointments. But we need grassroots organizations that can keep them accountable. They can make sure that the job is getting done, and that our youth, because they're our future of tomorrow, right? They're our future. So making sure that everyone is getting what they need to move forward. So that would be the big thing. Once I win, would be starting with our youth, starting with the truancy, and then just kind of working my way up. When it comes to truancy, then you can work with low level criminals, class A, class B, class C. I mean, let's just all of them under $10,000 for JP court. Anything under $10,000. That could be petty theft, anything. Just trying to get into the court system and create programs, and working with people in the community. And that's what I do. That's what I do, now. So, I mean, it's like Sunshine say, it's a passion of mine. I love lifting people up. So it shouldn't be no problem to keep moving and to, create necessary programs for our community.
Yeah. I like how Sunshine put in, she said keeping them busy, right? So if we go back to, my mom, she would always say children need activities and responsibilities.
Yes.
Activities and responsibilities, right?
Right.
So if you think about it, a lot of times those kids who are getting in trouble, they don't have any after school activities, they don't have any hobbies or things they're engaged in, and they don't go home to any responsibilities, right? They don't have to make their own beds. They don't, I tease my nieces, I'm like, we grew up with one bathroom and you growing up with four. So, it's, they don't have to go home, they don't have to make their own beds, they don't have to go home and start dinner, they don't wash their own clothes, clean their own rooms, nothing. And, kids need activities and responsibilities, and we need programs like that. And then with as many moms that are having to work right now, in the 70s, 80s, we talked about latchkey kids, when kids started having to go home with a key by themselves and things. We need programs for those kids. I can't tell you how many times I've heard professional athletes say, a certain organization saved their lives because they were able to go somewhere after school and not have to go home, not have to walk through the game activity and things like that. They could wait until their parents came to pick them up, and that's how they protected their siblings. So I love that you're wanting to create the programs for our youth, because we have to get them when they're young. A lot of times if we try to get them afterwards, though people can change, right, and convert and make different decisions, absolutely. But if we can get them while they're young, and if we can, embrace them, we can show them that someone cares, because a lot of times they think no one cares. We can show them someone cares, show them some love, some activities and responsibilities, hold them accountable. I think we can, make a change.
And on another note, avoid to keep them busy, to avoid from them becoming young parents from both sides, boy and the young ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to say, for people that may know about Brazoria County, I can tell you the numbers for Brazoria County. We have over 600 kids that are in foster care right now that are living in hotels. And you have programs like CASA that is begging for people to be mentors, right? Just to kind of be like, the Boys and Girls Club, like mentor these young kids. So if we don't get resources for kids like that are in foster care, then what are we doing? What are we doing? So it's all about creating the programs and creating effective programs.
Yes,
So that's just what I just wanted to say on the numbers for my county. There is definitely a need, and something has to change, and it has to change immediately.
wow, that was
When are
great.
you running for what you were running for?
I'm running now. I'm actually in the race right now. Our election is in November, but I'm running right now. I'm on the ground. I'm putting in the work right now.
Well,
I'm
you have
trying
my
to get.
vote.
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
My
thank
pleasure.
you.
You just have to be visible out there and let people know what you're doing,
Absolutely.
and continue being consistent. Networking would be great for you to go out there and show your face, because whenever we vote and we don't know someone, but we remember we seen someone that was introducing themselves, guess what? That person has your vote. You have
Yeah.
to be visible to get that credibility.
Right. 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 You're sounding like Miss Joyce over there. Yes, ma'am. I'm on it. Yes, thank you. I'm on it. I'm definitely working to get my face out there, get my voice out there, and let it be heard. At all costs.
Definitely, I love that. I think, relying on your network is really important to really hear from, okay, I need to do this, that, and the third. And like Sunshine said, it's like really important that you make those connections, especially like with women, like even on platforms like this. Although like we might not be reaching the biggest audience, this is reaching somebody that knows somebody else that'll tell them about Nicole was this person, and then she's running for the justice of the peace and things like that. So, like, one of the topics that we just came off of was talking about like truancy and things like that, but also like it brings me about COVID and like virtual learning and things like that. So, like, I want to talk about how that impacts like the business world. And like, can you speak to like the impact that you guys feel like the great resignation like is having on the workplace? Now a lot of people are realizing, my worth is so much more valuable than the stress that this job is putting me through and things like that. So what is like your take on that, you guys?
Well, Sunshine owns a placement agency, a personal agency. Do you have any insight to what challenges that the employers that you support are having because of the great resignation and people going home and, and leaving jobs?
No one wants to work. So I know COVID has been a huge impact for many employers, many businesses. A lot of businesses had to shut down because they didn't have the people, or they just didn't have the capital coming in due to COVID. No one was able to physically go there, whether it was an office professional building to a bar to you know all kinds of
Restaurant.
businesses,
Anywhere,
restaurants. Everything
McDonald's,
got shut
like
down, the whole world.
Yeah.
So now, as we were picking up, thank God, I'm very technology savvy, and I had systems in place prior to COVID. Not everyone had that. So we were able to capture both audiences: employers looking for employees, candidates looking for employment. Not everyone got the government that resources that they were
stimulus.
providing. So there was people looking for employment. We had the online application. We were able to communicate, with employers through, the technology that we had, the systems in place, and we placed so many people. We did partner up with companies that were doing supplies for the COVID system for the hospitals and medical. So we placed over 1,000 people just in one company. We were still working on it day to day, but the challenge is people wanting to work and employers desperately in need of bodies, and each employer has different requirements, different backgrounds, different certifications that they ask, and we have to still meet the requirements and expectations so we can send someone. We don't just send bodies. Well, let me send 5 people that you are needing. No, it doesn't work like that. Each company has their own restrictions or own requirements. So we had to make sure that we recruit the right personnel so we can meet their expectations, and so we can also follow protocol with OSHA, not only OSHA, IRS, the you know making sure that we have all the paperwork in place. So it's just working and continuously. I have a passion for what I do. So blessing people with employment is my passion, and being patient. Being patient for us to continue getting the right people. How do we do that? We have to showcase our business through social media, different platforms. different job fairs that we do, and just partnering up with the right people so we can continue being in business and having personnel apply with us. And most of all, we have to be trustworthy. We have to make sure that we also follow protocol and pay our employees on time. Whether an employer pays me, we still have to pay the employees on time weekly. So making sure we're out there and we're honest and down to earth, and branding myself to continue being in business.
Definitely, that's really important. Just valuing the people that are on your team. I think that's like a lot of the reason why people don't want to go back to certain jobs because they understand that they're in the position to where, you know what, if a company is not valuing me, I can work somewhere else and things like that. So I think that's really important. So I think we're coming to a close. Is that correct, Joyce?
Yes, yes, we are. And if I could add one more thing to that, I had an Uber ride when I was in Fort Lauderdale a couple of months ago, and the gentleman just said, that they had to make a decision, right? For one person not to work and for one person to work, him and his wife with their kids and things during not being able to go to school and things during COVID. And so his wife being in the medical field, they felt, well, she needed to be the one that continued on with her job and they had the best benefits for the family through her job and things like that. But one thing that he said was now that things are opening up, he was going to continue to do Uber because as a dad, he always found himself running from his children, right? He said every day without fail, when he had to be to work by a certain time, his young daughter come to him as he's trying to get out of the door. And she's like, Daddy, this and Daddy, that, and trying to talk to him. And he's having to push his child out of the way and run out the door to get to work. And he said it's just being able, not being in that environment has made him a better father, a better husband, a better friend. And he said that now when his daughter runs to that door, like clockwork, when he's getting ready to leave, Daddy, Daddy, what have you, that he says, what, sweetie, what do you want? And he talks to his daughter and then he goes and get in his Uber and turns it on. And so I think that people are prioritizing life. People are realizing that we don't need as much money to live off of that we thought we did. For many years, people had one income homes. And for especially some of my friends that were them and their spouses are both well over six-figure incomes, I think people just realize we don't need all that. Here's the value: spending time with our kids, making them know that they're loved, helping them with their homework and doing these things, and they're reprioritizing life.
Great, that's great. Did you have any last words, Nicole?
I would just backdoor on both what Sunshine and Joyce said. I think that people, especially the millennials, hats off. I respect them so much. A lot of times if something is not working for them, they will pick peace over stress any day. And I admire that, and just kind of watching them. We are dealing with historic levels of inflation. Let's just be honest. And one thing that I would say real quick that the COVID, the pandemic taught me is that you need multiple streams of income. So you have to have a backup plan for a backup plan for a backup plan because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So just make sure that you're writing down ideas and you're taking, using your time productively, creating ideas, writing it down, creating master plans, talking with your friends like, hey girl, do you need help with this? Just always in the moving, always moving. And that's all I'll say. I apologize if I'm long-winded.
No, that was great. I love that so much. I want everybody to like plug some information so where everybody can find you, and then search and see more about you.
Yes.
So,
So thank you, Ananda, for agreeing to host us tonight. I certainly appreciate it. You're so beautiful. I hadn't seen your face in a while. And I knew you could, you could do this with us. We got to feed into our young people and give them opportunities to shine and show them that they can, right? And so, like I say all the time, college students are my favorite people. And so I really appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you, ladies. Maribel is going to be our keynote speaker next week for the Women in Entrepreneurship Breakfast. I just put the link in chat, and I also have it on the screen right now. And so encourage everyone to go get your tickets and join us next Thursday, 8 a.m. We're gonna do registrations from 8 to 8:30, and we promise to have you get you out of there by 10:30, no later than 11 o'clock. Unless you just want to stand around and talk, you know how we do. We stand around and talk after the fact. And but women entrepreneurship, like as I said, is it's our time. It's our time, and we're going to grow together. I had the guy say today, we're going to glow and grow. We're going to glow and grow together as women. I am committed to bringing women entrepreneurs together this year, giving us a platform. I'm always giving platforms, so giving us a platform, help giving us resources that we need, and also networking with each other just to make sure that we are able to glow and grow. And so I am so grateful to Nicole. I've met her at an event, one of her events that I had opportunity to be on the stage and speak at. And then Maribel, graciously, we didn't even know each other. And I said, I need a firecracker speaker to close those women out next week. And when they leave there, I want them on fire. And so a friend of mine, Kareem, said, "Oh, I have someone for you." I was like, "Well, get her." And I met her today in person for the first time. She had a networking breakfast, which was amazing. I had so much fun at that event this morning, and stayed and talked to the guys. And I met the first husband. I called her husband the first husband. And he and I took a selfie. And so we want the men to join us also next week because we need your support as well. We need your support as we glow and grow. So Nanda, I'll hand it over to you to close us out.
Yes, it was great talking to you all tonight again. Everyone go to the Eventbrite about the Women's Breakfast that's going to be happening this month on the 24th. We will all love to see you there. And then on that note, happy Women's History Month. And I hope you guys enjoy and really celebrate the women that are in your lives. Have a good night.
Awesome. Happy Women's History Month.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
It
Bye
was a
bye.
pleasure connecting.